IBA, or ICE Benchmark Administration, really opened for business in early 14, but we had set it up in mid-2013 when we were successful in tendering to take over LIBOR from the British Bankers Association. And I think what was kind of important to us there was it wasn't just about LIBOR, but what we saw evolve in LIBOR and the scandal around LIBOR, we suspected was happening in other asset classes as well, and therefore we felt quite confident we could set up a business around that. So we went live early 14, February 14 in fact, with LIBOR, but by the summer of 2014 we took over ISDAFIX. We now call that ICE swap rate. And then early in 15 we took over what was the London Gold Fix, and it's now the LBMA Gold Price. So we run an auction twice a day for the gold to determine the gold price. And we've since expanded that to ISDA SIMM, which is the standard initial margin model for OTC derivatives, so we're generating some of the inputs there. And indeed later this year we will go live with operating the ISDA Credit Determinations Committee. So there's been a continual kind of bringing on of new business as the industry has accepted and realized that there's a need for an independent governance and administrator of many processes within the city. One of our strengths, I think, is the evolution around benchmarks and the work we've been doing there. So LIBOR is clearly one of the most important out there, and we have been at the forefront really of evolution of benchmarks. The fact that we're operating here in the UK in a regulated environment, and we manage ISDAFIX, or ICE swap rate as it is now, gold and LIBOR, which are 3 of the 8 regulated benchmarks, kind of gives us a very in-depth interaction with both the official sector in terms of their goals and aspirations for benchmarks, but also the users. There's very few market participants that don't use some or all of those benchmarks and have a strong interest in the evolution of those benchmarks. All those stakeholders want to see an evolve or a pathway forward where those benchmarks continue to be produced, continue to be reliable, but if at all possible, can be made even more robust and more resilient. So they spend a lot of time talking to us about what we can do to add to that resilience and robustness. We will be expanding and are already expanding outside of the benchmark space. So whilst our starting point was very much LIBOR and ICE swap rate and gold, both ISDA SIMM, the margin inputs that we generate, and the Credit Determinations Committee are where we're more generating industry consensus values rather than benchmarks. So the Credit Determinations Committee is effectively we're convening the group together to determine if a credit event has happened. It's not a benchmark, but nonetheless you need all that expertise brought together. So we will continue to expand and kind of grow the business, but whilst we like benchmarks and we continue to do benchmarks, we're quite positive about the prospects of expanding beyond just pure benchmark business. It's going to be an interesting couple of years. I guess we've just had a Brexit panel. That will, there's a lot of work, I think, for the clearinghouse and for us to do with our customers in light of Brexit. And that will reverberate through ICE Clear Europe and the ICE organisation quite strongly. Exactly what we do and how we respond to Brexit, we don't know, but ICE Clear Europe will be very much at the start of that, or at the centre of that. There's a strong push from the regulatory side, the official sector, to make non-standardized business expensive, right? That has already started to bite in a number of asset classes, but hasn't really reverberated fully through the industry. But I think that's a direction that will continue to kind of unfold. So I think there is a continued good prospects, or very strong prospects, for clearinghouses and for ICE Clear Europe in particular. We have been at the forefront of a number of innovations really in terms of clearing on the energy side, on the credit default swap side. I think we can continue to kind of maintain that market position.